EP, that's it. Hey y'all, welcome back to EP That's It podcast, where we have no BS conversations. I hope you missed us because we missed you. We are back with a wonderful guest, somebody that is near and dear to my heart, my girl boss, my sister friend, my girl's girl, my whatever you need, she gonna make sure she got it for you. My 10 toes down when it comes to her girlies. Like, I could just go on and on and on, but I'm gonna let her talk for herself. Y'all give it up for my girl, Daph.
I'm here too, and I miss y'all.
You know.
I'm just saying, that's crazy.
You know, my co-host
Yes,
with the
I'm here.
mostest, my
Yeah.
fly guy,
I'm
Mr.
here.
Don't Be Asked. He gonna ask you the questions that need to be asked.
Period.
Y'all favorite guy,
That's me.
Caleb.
Yeah.
Yay!
Hey, well, you just cut me out.
Not at all. I'm just excited.
I got you.
I
Me
got my
too.
girl here.
I'm
You
excited.
feel me?
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
And y'all already know who I am, Bianca. You know me. You love me. Hi.
There we go.
Okay. Just to start off, Daph. Hi. Hey, girl. I'm so happy that you made the availability to be here with us. Because you are somebody that I admire. You're somebody that I think is really a dope person, just overall as an individual, but also like we're gonna talk about your brand, See and Me, and just everything that it stands for and everything that I know you personally that you have done. I feel like you're the perfect person to bring here, especially on Women's History Month, although it's almost over. We definitely want to highlight you because again, you're a girl's girl, I'm a girl's girl. You know how we give it up. So without further ado, See and Me, the brand, confidence in me. Just wanted you to kind of speak on that. Like, what is confidence in me? What does it mean to you? What is the brand about? What's your targeted audience? Like, let them know.
Bianca, thank you for that wonderful intro. Thank you guys for having me on your podcast. I don't even know how to follow up with that because she says such amazing things about me. But my name is Daph. I guess you could call me a girl boss, whatever you want to call it.
That's what I call her.
I have my own personal brand, and it is a confidence boosting brand for young women and women alike. It's called Confidence in Me, and the shortened version is See and Me. And it's a brand that I established in 2018 after meeting some amazing children at a middle school. Shout out to Walt Whitman Middle School. I met some amazing youth, and when I met them, they taught me so much and literally made me become the person that I am today. So I give them way more credit than they ever could imagine I would give them. But they are truly the pillars of why I am who I am today and what my brand is completely about.
I love that. Shout out to Walt Whitman. I went to that middle school. You already know. With that being said, you said that, you know, working and meeting with the youth in 2018, that's kind of the backbone of the beginning of Confidence in Me. How did they play a role in that specifically? And is that your targeted audience? Is the youth your targeted audience, or can you expand on that?
Absolutely. When I met them in 2018, the first thing they taught me was that I was a role model.
Mm-hmm.
I was so upset about that. If you can imagine.
What's wrong with being a role model?
I was so upset because I was like, I'm a role model. Does that mean like I have to be perfect? Does that mean they're going to watch my every move?
For sure.
If I make a mistake, oh my gosh, like, are they never going to forgive me? And one thing about kids and children and youth, when they genuinely love you, they'll forgive you for it all. You know, whether you're bad, you're good, right, wrong, or indifferent. Having love from children is genuine love. So these kids literally taught me how to be a role model, right? But what does that mean? In order to be their role model, I had to understand them. So getting to know them, right? And I've been working in youth development for 14 years now. If you would believe, I never had interest in working with youth, right? I just became really good at it. But those kids that I met at that middle school literally made me into the person that I am today. So teaching me so many different things. But the one thing that I noticed about them was the one thing that so many women that I have met in life talk about, right? Girls, friends, right? No, girls are catty, they're this, they're that, right? But we never get into the reason or the breakdown of why girls are the way that they are, right? But if you really look at it, a term that you've probably heard so much is she thinks she's all that. right? She thinks she's all that, or she thinks she's cute, right? What does that even mean? Because she might actually be cute, and she does think that, and like that's actually great, right? But it comes off as such a negative thing, and that's where I really, really learned it from. Because I would realize, like, all my girls, they would get into such catty arguments, and when you get into the meat and the potatoes of the arguments, it was literally rooted in jealousy. But they never saw it as that, right? They never saw it as it was rooted in jealousy, because they convinced themselves that this is a genuine problem. This person is genuinely this and genuinely that, and I have to be opposed to it or against it. So in them teaching me that, it helps me also look into my friendships, or look into women that I've met over the years, and look into girls who say, I can't be friends with girls. Girls are this, that, and the third, right? Getting, breaking that down.
Feel about that.
Breaking that down. And as somebody who has very successful relationships with women, and of course I've had my ups and downs, people that I'm not friends with anymore, and all those different things, but I've had genuinely very successful relationships with women. So I started to teach them how to get that, right? Or achieve that, or help them really break down the problems that they were having with each other and see where it's rooted in. And I feel like a lot of people didn't take time to do that, right? To break it down. But people also don't do that within themselves, right? Because when you grow up, you meet women, and they're like adult haters, right?
Adult haters.
They're haters, yeah. And it starts from childhood. It starts from when they're little. It starts from when they're young. And I don't feel like people need to be that way. I definitely feel like when we start in the youth, make them feel good about who they are. They're never intimidated by who someone else is. Once they feel good about who they are, you know, anybody can step in the room, and that's not going to intimidate you, because you know who you are. So that's kind of what I try to teach through my brand. Through public speaking engagements, you know, merch, when you look good, you feel good, all these different things. So that's kind of where my brand like is rooted from. But it literally started with some kids at Walt Whitman Middle School. Started.
There's something that you said that I kind of want to pin on real quick.
Okay.
You said that you actually allowed, or you learn what you learned now by learning from them,
right?
And that's something you don't really hear often, which is the older generation or the older people actually learning from the younger generation. So can you talk a little bit more about, like, how did you, was it like okay, what's the word, I'm gonna submit, or I'm gonna just, you know, create that space where you can actually learn from them?
Genuinely creating the space, but also genuinely being interested in what they're talking to you about without having the ulterior motive, right? So having a conversation, wanting to get to the meat and the potatoes genuinely of the conversation without there being a punitive, you know, underlying background, right?
Okay.
So anytime that they had a situation, I need all the details, right? But even after the fact, anytime that they would quote unquote get in trouble, right? It would never be backlash against me for them getting in trouble, because they genuinely, I messed up, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I found out and dug all this information out of you to go tell your mom and go tell your parent, right? And also, most of the time when they did things wrong, even though I'm telling your mom, I'd be like, all right, mom, but don't hit them. Don't beat them. Don't do this. Don't do that. Or I would tell their parents, like, you know, I spoke to them. I'm just telling you because I want you to know, but I spoke to them. So getting to understand them, they really taught me so much, because I went to private middle school and that was my first experience in a public middle school, and it's very different, right? It's extremely different. Whereas when I was in middle school, my class specifically, we only had one class per grade. So there was only one 6th grade class, one 7th grade class, one 8th grade class. But then you come here and there's like 10. And there's so much more kids. So when I came to middle school, I was genuinely shell-shocked at how mature these kids were, of how mature and the things they were doing. Shocked me, because when I was in middle school, like, that's not where I was. So in a sense, I kind of had to put myself back into middle school and understand it from their point of view. But I do that in all aspects of my life. Even being a manager at work, I've been where my staff has been. I've been in their role at some point. So when they make decisions, I put myself in that role to now navigate how I'm going to deal with that. So with them, when they used to do things, even though me in my adult life, I feel like they're being dramatic, whatever. But the middle school me, would I feel like that was dramatic? Right? It wouldn't be dramatic. It would be the end of the world for me. So understanding them from that point of view, but respect. I have the utmost respect for them. I've told people all the time, I've never been cursed out by a child.
Wow.
Same.
I've never been cursed out by a child. I've never been openly disrespected by a child. I've had perception disrespect, if that makes sense, right? What I feel to be is disrespectful, but never like open and blatant disrespect from a child, which is very rare working in youth development.
Yeah.
I think I want to add on to that. In terms of like, how did you put yourself in that role, or how did she put herself in that role to be able to essentially learn from the kids?
Yeah.
I think I want to add on to what you were saying in terms of, I've had the privilege of working with DAF in the middle school at Whitman with those particular kids as well. And I think what is a big factor in your ability to be able to learn from the kids and or have wonderful conversations with the kids is the fact that you treat every person as an individual and not as like you're a child, you don't know what you're saying, you what you're saying is not valuable, because honestly speaking, everyone wants to be heard and seen. And I feel like DAF has always made a place or a space where, whether you're an adult, whether you're older than her, younger than her, or her age, that you're going to be heard and seen, and any and everything that you have to say has value. You can be wrong, you can be right, you can be indifferent, but the point is, I'm going to hear you, and I'm going to, if there needs to be correction or if there need to be understanding here, whatever the case may be, we're going to get to that. But first and foremost, I'm going to create a space where you can talk. Tell me what's going on with you. Why are you upset? Why you almost got into that fight? I want to know all about it, and I want to talk to you like an individual and not like you're a child and you need to know your place in X, Y, and Z. Because I've seen these kids be able to open up and have a relationship with her in which I have never seen, because at the time, like, I've worked in youth development as well. I didn't see that growing up either. You've never had, when you talk about you ever had a teacher that like really paid attention to you, or like an after school program where they really knew your name, or like you had a space where you could come into the office and just be like, let me tell you what's going on with my life. Or because you don't get that from your parents. So being able to cultivate that space, I feel like plays a big factor in that. And I think it's really dope that you were able to learn and apply that into your brand. So let's get back to your brand, right? So with Confidence in Me, I know you said that you learned a lot from your kids and you saw the dynamics about girls and stuff like that. What in the dynamics of females and things like that you felt like the name Confidence in Me, right? Like the name itself, because it could have been anything. It could have been girls brand, or you know what I mean? Like, it could have been any name at all. But the name Confidence, like, I feel like when somebody sees that, right, Confidence in Me, it's like you're confident in yourself. And is that what that's about? Is that what you're selling or kind of teaching or telling other women, is to be confident in themselves? Or is there more to it?
There's definitely more to it, because I don't think I'm selling anything, right? So let's talk about it. I don't think I'm selling anything. And selling is definitely not the brand, right? Selling is definitely not the goal or the point, because you got to genuinely believe in what you do, right? You can make people believe anything that you want to, right? But there is going to come a point where people don't believe in what you do anymore. So genuinely believing in what you do is super important. But this name came about at brunch with my best friend. We were sitting there, we were at brunch, and I was off Instagram for like a couple of years. And she's like, you need to get back on Instagram. You need to get back on Instagram. So we were sitting at brunch, and we came up with this Instagram name. And the reason why the name itself has an extra E is there's no weird story. It's just the regular handle with one E was just unavailable. Right? So
no, please make that clear, because people gonna be like, she can't spell confidence without two E's.
It's
not.
I promise you, it's not a typo. Literally, the regular handle was just super unavailable. So I just had to add an E. I tried to add the period, the underscore, all these different things, and it was unavailable. So I added an extra E. But how it became like a brand, because it didn't start off that way. How it became a brand was that I was like obsessed with Nike. Like, you could relate me.
Let me
and
tell you
Nike.
something. I met this girl, and when I say Nike down to the socks,
oh my gosh,
bro, and it's sickening because she's like a matchy kind of girl. So it'd be like gray Nike Tech from the top to the bottom, then it matched the sneakers and the socks, and then the logo gotta be. And I'm like, wow.
I was like obsessed with their brands. And then one day I'm having like a conversation with my friends, and they're like, Nike needs to sponsor you. Oh my gosh, like, you're always in their stuff. And they're like, yeah, we gotta find out who does Nike so he can sponsor you. Who owns Nike? Right? But everybody could identify me with this brand.
Right.
At the time, I didn't know if it was a guy. I didn't know if it was a girl. I didn't know who owned Nike. But everybody could identify me with that brand, right? So at that point, I researched who owned Nike, and I know now. But at that point, I was just like, that is insane that people can identify me with a brand that I'm I have no actual background knowledge of. And how much of us wear things, right, all the time, have no idea who the creator is, nothing about them. We don't know if they're for us, against us, anything, but you know, we're wearing their brand, or you have a favorite brand and you can be identified with that brand. So in that moment, I went to KP, and you know, they have like the cards that like put stuff on shirts. And I got like this neon lime green sweater. And I put confidence in me on there, but I had like the ad sign like from my Instagram and all this stuff. And that was like the first piece of merch that I ever owned. And my goal was to pivot from wearing Nike to just wearing my own stuff, right? It wasn't for anybody else to wear it. It wasn't any of that. It was just for me to wear it. I was wearing it all the time. I was making shirts, all these different things. And then my friends naturally are like, I want a shirt. Like, let me wear a shirt. Why you don't make it?
Because it's cute. Like, it was real cute. I was like, wait, hold on. I like that.
So it kind of felt like I was fake gatekeeping at first. Heavy. I wasn't like making things for them,
gatekeeping,
but I was making things for myself, right? I wasn't trying to like push it on anybody. It was just kind of things for myself, and that's kind of where it grew from. But as far as the confidence thing, when we were trying to come up with my Instagram name and trying to figure out what my Instagram name was, it was just like, I asked her, like, what would you use to describe me? And she was like, confident.
Period.
Right? And
straight like that.
Always been me. I've always been confident in everything I do. I feel like my circumstances made it that way. And that was it. It was just like, confidence, what? Like confidence in you, confidence in us. And we kind of like, you know, played around and we came up with confidence in me. And that's kind of where it started from. But the brand part of it didn't start until a couple of years later. But it kind of started off just because I needed a new Instagram name. That was it. I just needed a new Instagram name.
I got work. Okay.
For
sure. No, that's right.
Okay, then. So now, boom. I want to, you know what I'm saying, dive a little bit deeper into, you know, confidence in me. So, of course, when it comes to, you know, being confident, it takes a lot of work. So I just want you to tell us, like, what does that work look like for you yourself to be more confident in yourself?
For me, I know what my goals are. I know what I'm trying to achieve, and I put myself in positions to do that, right? So I created my own lane, right? And there were many different lanes, right? There's the lane that my mom created for me, which is why I'm a nurse. By license. There was the lane that other people created for me, which is you should be a lawyer or a teacher, right? But I wasn't interested in being in the classroom, and going to law school is a really long time. And I wasn't interested in that. So what was it creating that lane for me? But also, I think it has a lot to do with how I grew up, and I've never felt left out, right? Always been having what other people have, right? Whatever was common and whatever was popular, like I have that, right? Okay. I was always allowed to do what other people got to do. I was always allowed to, if somebody was having a party, all these different things, I was always allowed to do that, right? So I never felt inadequate. Because why should I?
Or right? Like never lacked anything.
I never lacked anything. And don't get me wrong, I definitely grew up, you know, my dad is definitely in my life, shout out to him. But it was just my mom, and my mom was a single mom at a point, and this, that, and the third. So it wasn't even like it was like a perfect life or anything like that. I mean, I grew up in the hood, I grew up in Crown Heights, but I just felt like life was just pretty good, right? So even when I was in school, it wasn't like I wasn't popular or I wasn't well known. It wasn't like people were bullying me or anything of the sort. So because I didn't experience these things, there was nothing to take away my confidence, right? There was nothing to remove it from me because who was doing it? Even if people had things to say, they were never saying it to me, right? Even if people had things to say or any comments to make, it was never anything directed towards me. And there definitely was a point where my personality was very different than it is now. So I had to grow past that, but that was a personal thing. But I never had any reason to not be, right? So then growing up like that, always being able to make friends, even if I was new somewhere, didn't know anybody, I was always able to make friends, always able to gravitate towards people, always able to be in the center of the room and not be afraid. So I personally, through my experiences, don't feel like I had any reason to not be confident. Now, is that the blueprint for everyone? No. And that's why.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm glad you said that.
I'm not writing a self-help book. I'm not writing a confidence in a book. I don't believe in that. Confidence is not one size fit all.
It's not. I feel like I want to challenge that a little bit because, well, not more so challenge, but agree with the fact that it's not one size fit all. I feel like you said the reason why you feel like you never had a reason not to be confident was because you didn't lack for anything. You had, you know, what seemed like a wonderful upbringing for yourself. You had the ability to make friends and, you know, all of those things. I feel like when you asked that question, in my head, the thing that I thought was like, I thought confidence was either innate or not, right? Because, and that's just my thought process, only because for me, my childhood is very different from yours. Like, I have somewhat of a darker childhood, not so much of the happy-go-lucky, not with the parents and the household, and I didn't have everything I ever wanted. Like, I grew up very much poor. I moved a lot, you know what I mean? I did have a wonderful personality that, you know, I knew how to make friends and whatnot. I wasn't the prettiest thing in the world, you know what I mean?
Like,
like,
I even play with you like that, girl.
I'm cute now, but you know.
And being cute, and then
your friend. But like, I was always confident though. Like, that wasn't something that I needed to build ever. Like, I was always confident. I was always the person that I could walk in a room and take over the room, no matter what my circumstances were. I don't think like that's why I say I differ from you, where my confidence didn't come from having everything. I think my confidence came from, well, if I don't got nothing else, I'm gonna have this. I might as well be lit. Like, you know what I mean? I might as well.
You know, mine is definitely not a blueprint because there's definitely people who have it all, right? Who have it all and
are
still
insecure.
Don't feel, right? Who still don't feel the way that I feel. But I think it's because it's what I actually wanted, right? These are the things that I actually wanted and I was able to get. It wasn't things that other people had that I wanted. It was genuinely things that I wanted that I was able to get. So for me, I was okay with that. And I also come from a mama who was just like, yep, and the cutest, and the best, and the this, and the that. You know, my mom is like a super big cheerleader. And she was always, you know, on my side and my biggest cheerleader, and my dad too. Like, you can't tell my dad anything about me. So having these type of people in your corner, but also having my siblings, my friends, my family, who literally are like, they're at the sidelines, like, you know, what's that movie where it's just like, go little rock star? Like, this is my family. These are my friends. So in everything that I did, I always had that support system. So I feel like even in moments, and don't get me wrong, confidence does not come without insecurities. And people need to realize that confidence does not come without insecurities.
That's true. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
And I think that's the biggest thing that people think, right? Oh, I'm confident. You sitting here confident. You don't have insecurities. That's absolutely a lie, right?
Yeah.
I think that being insecure is a state of mind. And I am not insecure, right? So I'm not in that state of mind, but I have insecurities, right? Confidence is a state of mind, and that's the state of mind that I stay in, right?
Amen.
But when it comes
that's a word. Hold on. That's a word. You go to don't lose your train of thought.
Listen, you just made a losing. She got
no.
We gotta sit with that. You gotta digest that real quick.
Hold on.
Okay? Confidence is a state of mind that you choose to stay in.
That is
insecurity.
Right?
Come on.
She's
right?
You
don't gotta live in your insecurity. You hear that, baby girl?
I think it's just a choice. it's a choice.
Come on.
It's definitely a choice, and I choose not to stay in that state of mind, right? So genuinely, I'm okay with what I see looking back at me in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
So that's my personal opinion of myself. Yeah. Anybody else's opinion is their own. Right?
That part.
But my opinion
and we don't care
is mine, right? And you can have whatever opinion. You can have your opinion of exactly what confidence looks like. It's obviously why I'm not out here writing a book for anyone or telling anybody this is what you have to do and you're going to be confident. I'm not selling the ebook. I'm not doing any of that because that's just not realistic. Yeah. Everybody's circumstances are different, you know, and your circumstances make you who you are. So for me, these are where my circumstances led me to be. And that's why I am where I am. But when it comes to insecurities, I think people don't think that confidence and insecurities go hand in hand. People think it's separate, right? You're either one or the other. But two things can be true at the same time. That's a fact. And being confident but having insecurities is a very real thing, right? Two things that are true at the same time. So there's definitely things that I can pinpoint about myself that I would love to change, right? At any given point, but I can push past that. I can push past that and walk forward every day and really walk into a room with my head held high. Yeah. And it's not a facade. It belongs there. Right? Yeah. So I just...
Right. Come on now.
It do. It
you listen. Does. You cooking.
Right? And that's based off my personal opinion. So I think that a lot of people, when they see certain names, certain brands, all these different things, you know, or when they see people looking a certain way, they attribute it to confidence. But it's absolutely a state of mind.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like confidence is based on how you feel about yourself. And I think that it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, where our childhoods were different, but how I felt about me, you know what I mean? Yeah, was something different. My circumstances might not look like I should be feeling how I feel about me, but baby, I feel that way about me and nobody can take that away from me. Absolutely. So that's why I come in a room and I am who I am, and you are envious of me who don't got nothing that you got. But you don't feel how you feel about yourself the way I feel about me. So that's really important.
Right? The envy could be a perception.
No,
right? That's a perception.
Hold on.
That could be a perception.
True. But there has been people in my life that has actually told me that they were jealous of me and was envious of me because of my personality. And these are people that, like, well, let's talk about beauty, right? Because, you know, you can look at yourself in the mirror and see everything that's wrong with you. But somebody else looks at you and they're like, you're absolutely gorgeous. Right, I've had people like that in my life where I thought like, yo, you are absolutely stunning. Yes. You are a beautiful girl. You have all these friends. You have all these people in your life. Like, I don't see what you're insecure about. I don't see why you feel so small. I don't see why you cower in a room, why you can't own the presence. I don't see why, you know, you might let a man treat you some type of way. Right. And to me, I'm like, in comparison to me and you, I'm like, damn, you look better than me. Like, you get more money than me. You flyer than me. You this, you that. But I step in and I'm like, it's me. What's up, baby? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about me. So I've had people that genuinely told me like, yo, I'm envious, or I really am jealous of your personality, of how you come in the room, or how you are so confident, how you're so this, like how you get like that. And I'm like, it's either you are or you're not. I feel like, what do you say to people like that? Do you really believe that it's either you are or you're not? Like that je ne sais quoi? Like confidence is a je ne sais quoi? Or is it something that like you can build or you can gain or not?
Absolutely. I definitely feel like even when you look at teenagers, right? Because they're going through puberty, they're going through all these different things, right? They may not be as confident in themselves as they become, you know, when they get older. It's circumstances. Everyone's circumstances are different, right? Something that's always shell-shocking to people is when I tell them, I've only had one hater in my whole life. Right? One hater in my whole life. And I'm going to tell you why. But let me tell you why. I've only had one hater in my life, right? Because there's only one person in all my years that has ever come to me and told me I was hating on you. So anybody else, it could be it's my perception. I've never tried to debunk it. I've never spoken to them. I've never gotten their perception. So it could all just be my assumptions, right? Because most of the time you're like, yeah, they're hating.
So that's the only fact you have.
That's the only fact I have. So for me, I've only had one hater in my life, and I didn't even do nothing to her. So she had to come back and apologize to me.
I had 3 haters, if that's the case.
Have they ever told you that they
were haters? We talk about based off of your logic. I had 3 haters in my life. How many haters you had? Wow. Nobody ever told you to your face?
No haters.
Period. You
Yeah.
gotta live.
And that's okay, right? And if you live like that and you think like that, and you remove that perception of people hating on you or wanting the worst for you and all these things, it starts to debunk other things, right?
Yeah.
Because we're sitting here and people are like, "Oh, these people, everybody was praying on my downfall." Were they?
Were they?
Were you there at the prayer?
What? Not even. Did you get to the top?
Yeah. Like, were you there?
You weren't even
were
at the
you
top.
at the prayer session? That's just insane to me. Like, were you at the prayer session? But people truly believe these things, and I choose not to be in that state of mind. Only one hater in my life, because she literally came to me and told me, "I was hating on you. You didn't do anything to me. I felt like you thought you was all that."
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well,
I remember in high school.
I do, but yeah.
Yo, I remember in high school, this girl really came up to me and really told me, "I think that you better than me." First of all, what does that mean? Like, you think that I think, first of all, you're not in my thoughts, that I'm better than you. Okay.
What?
Yeah.
How do you respond?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You see, my response is very different. My response is very different. It's definitely not okay. Right?
Like, okay.
Because this level of hierarchy, absolutely not. Right? Because there's nobody walking this earth that I think they think they're better than me. Right? Whether they think that or not. Right? So I would never want you to, like, I'm just not even up there. Right? Even if it's a negative thought or a positive thought, babe.
See, I was in high school. I wasn't mature like that yet. I wasn't mature like that.
I try to be.
It was given, okay, what you want to do. But, now, as an adult, no, that's not my mindset. Now, as an adult, if you come to me and you say that to me, it's going to be like, well, what makes you think that?
Yeah.
That's different, because I have a level of patience, of care, of maturity that I can honestly say that I've grown to. But before that, it was given, and what about it?
Yeah.
Build a bridge.
Even respect for people.
Throw yourself over it.
I don't like, you know? Even having respect.
That is, I ain't gonna lie.
It's just real talk.
If this is, I love high level conversation.
Okay.
I love high level conversation, because it's like, you guys already hitting everything that I wanted to touch on.
Okay.
Which is about, staying confident is really a mindset thing. You feel me? It's all about you. It's what you think of yourself.
Yeah.
So as a guy,
For sure.
because this may be different. I can't speak from a guy's point of view.
Facts.
So I have one question. Like, let's flip it a little bit, right?
Oh,
I always ask this question, and I definitely like to ask guys this question: what's the difference between confidence and delusion? What's the difference,
Caleb?
Damn, huh?
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
As a guy,
To you.
a guy,
I have my thoughts.
you gotta be. There's a line that I love the most.
Okay.
That my friend said, and I'm gonna keep saying it. 'Cause I love it. May your Delulu become true Lulu.
Period.
It goes hand in hand. To be honest, I'm gonna keep it a buck. For me personally, going back to this confidence and thing you have to build.
Yeah.
You just get it. Me personally, I had to build it.
Right.
But I built it through my work, if you see what I mean. But like, at first I thought it was like, man, if I acquire this, if I get this, if I am this, if I am that,
For sure.
then I'll be, that guy.
Mhm.
Until I realized that, people don't really care about that for real. They really don't. So it's either
some people care about that too, though.
Mhm.
So yeah, but go ahead.
But for me personally, I didn't. Most people that I was doing it for, they didn't really care about that. They cared about who I was.
Absolutely.
So now to me, then I had to dial it back. I'm like, okay, so my confidence needs a foundation. So then I started to build my confidence on my values, my five values.
Nice.
And when I thought about that, now it made me feel like, it sort of kind of made me also remove the whole, elevating more than the materialistic things of life and, growing past that. And so to me, I had to be a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? I had to be a little delusional.
Well, don't say crazy, because, let's go with delusional.
I had to be a little delulu.
Crazy subjective.
Okay, I had to be a little delulu in order to acquire my confidence, but it worked. So to me,
so you believe in the fake it till you make it concept. Because you're saying delulu is trululu, with meaning fake it till you make it.
I got
right?
you. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, but not in materialistic things.
No,
I'm talking about
in
how
actual.
you feel.
How you feel. Fake it till make it can apply to so many different things.
Yeah, that's what I had to clarify.
No, got it.
But yeah, so I had to fake it till I make it, and I truly stole that whole idea, but I applied it my own way from the baby. It was like, listen, I was a millionaire already, moving like a millionaire before I became a millionaire. So I'm like,
He had a millionaire
So,
mindset, so
yeah,
he
feel me?
acquired
So then
that.
I'm like, so how can I apply that to my real life? I'm like, okay, cool. I have to already move on these 5 values that I have for myself.
Absolutely.
Then that will make me the guy, not the fact that I have this amount of followers, not the fact that I have this amount of money, not the fact that I have this. And that's why I can walk in the room as myself. That's why I can walk in and make all these friends. And then people are like, yo, how is it so easy for you to make friends? I'm just me.
Yeah.
You feel me? And when I say that, people's like, what does that even mean? You know, like, I'm just me.
Either you get it or you don't.
Yeah.
The girls that get it, and the girls that don't.
So, yeah, nah, for sure. For me personally, it took a level of, confidence and delusion, to work.
I feel like I agree with you. I think that there may be a difference for you, but I think for me, like, it goes hand in hand a bit, delusion and confidence, because I feel like confidence is based on how you feel about yourself, and delusions are what you think of yourself or whatever you fabricate in your mind. So delusions start in the mind, and confidence also starts in the mind, because it's all a mindset, right? So I think they go hand in hand. I don't think they are one and the same. So there are differences for sure, but I do feel like sometimes they do play hand in hand with one another, because an example that always comes to mind is, like, again, you might feel like you are Queen of Sheba, like you are the hottest thing walking on this earth, and that might be a delusion to someone that does not find you attractive, right? Or vice versa, where it's like, you might really be delusional about the life that you have. You might be really broke and you live a rich lifestyle in debt. You know what I mean? Because you're like, I'm rich. That's a delusion, but you get your confidence through that, where, like you said, in terms of materialistic, if you are delusional about being rich and you're living in debt, but you have all of these things that you put on, it makes you feel good. When you step out, you like, yeah, check me out, but I'm iced out though. Like, you know what I mean? That's a confidence. I feel like sometimes they are synonymous and they go hand in hand, but they are not one and the same. I think that confidence is something that is constructive. I would say one of the major differences, like, confidence is constructive, whereas it's like, I'm confident in my ability to do something. That's constructive. I'm confident in who I am. That's constructive. In terms of the way that I show up and how I behave myself. It's all constructive, but delusion is not. I think delusion is like the wind. Like, it has no stability, no foundation. It does not draw you to or from anywhere. It's just one of those things that's a passing thought. It's a thought. It comes, it goes. You get delusional about whatever it may be. It's not constructive. I feel like that for me might be a bit of the differences.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
What's your thoughts?
I like to believe that in some cases, because nothing is ever 100%.
Yeah.
So in some cases, in most cases, the difference between confidence and delusion is fact. Right? Fact is generally what can help you differentiate between confidence and delusion.
How do you fact check confidence?
In certain ways with delusion, right? If somebody is like, you have a black shirt on and genuinely your shirt is black, it's a black shirt, right? They can believe all that they want that your shirt is white. Right? They can believe all they want. They can keep going all they want that your shirt is white, right?
Yeah.
But the fact is that your shirt is black, right? And we're not talking about these little.
We're
not talking about these little games,
you right? Like, but they're confident.
And this is in where fact comes in.
Yeah.
But when there is really talking about confidence and delusion, there's really no real difference between that. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that. People think like, oh, she thinks her hair looks good. I think it looks bad. She's delusional.
Nah, that's an opinion.
You think it looks bad. 5 people think it looks bad. 5 people think it looks good.
Right.
What makes you more qualified than them, right? So if 5 hairdressers think it looks bad, 5 hairdressers think it looks good. What makes one better than the other?
Yeah.
Right? So I definitely think that people love to throw that delusional card. And when you brought up the baby, like, I am a diehard fan of Saweetie. Okay? I love Sweetie so much. And there was something that she said most recently in like one of her interviews in her in a magazine, and she was talking about how basically like at first when she started like her Instagram career and all these different things, like she used to have like these designer bags and all these things, but she didn't really make it yet, right? But she used to take the pictures and she used to post them and all that and make it look like she had it. But now that she has it, right? So she worked hard to get it. So was it really delusion? Or was it she was faking it till she made it? You know, we would have never known these things if she didn't tell us, right? And she was transparent enough to tell us, which is great. But it was like we believed that about her back then. Right. And she continued to make us believe that until now. So definitely something that's inspirational. But I don't think there's any real difference. Only
like a clear cut, right?
There's no clear cut different. Sometimes fact. That's what I believe. But I always love to ask that question sometimes.
I feel like I want to throw another not fancy, but like another trigger word out there, right? Because we're talking about delusion, and I feel like in terms of the Sweetie story that you were talking about, in terms of fake it till you make it, another thing that I hear a lot is that manifestation word.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
I know. It would be. I wouldn't be me if I didn't bring it up. I just feel like that's another word that's out there a lot in terms of manifestation. What do you feel about the wording of manifestation?
I feel like manifestation can definitely happen with hard work. It's very simple. Right? You're not just going to say something and it's going to happen like it's going to fall into your life.
That's a form of delusion too.
Right. But when we are saying like, hey, I want to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And we're doing all the steps to ensure that we're a teacher, baby, you manifested that.
Right.
It's hard to get to that.
Right.
I just don't like when people equate manifestation with doing nothing, right?
That's the delusional part.
It's going to happen.
That's why I said that, because I'm like, that's the delusional part, because I think that there are certain terminologies that people use without knowing or really having the right context, right? Like you said, if you say you're going to do something and then you apply the steps, you have goals towards it, and it becomes that, you did manifest that because you said it, you applied it became that. Magical. There's power in the tongue, right? So even the Bible says the power of life and death is in the tongue. So magical. You brought life to what you said. Absolutely. Wonderful. But there's people that sit around and they say like, yeah, I'm going to be the president of the United States. And it's like, okay, what are you doing about that?
Right?
Like,
sure.
I'm going to get a degree, or I'm going to start a business. There's a lot of I'm going to, and I'm going to be, and I'm going to walk in this, and I'm going to manifest this. But babes, what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing for this to, become that?
And I feel like that's one thing that I had to start doing myself, which is, words have meaning.
Yeah. Okay.
And one thing that I had to start doing is not letting whoever say what they say make me play context clues, like you said. You know, so me, when somebody say a word, I actually look up the word and look at the definition to make sure, like, hey, are you even using this right? You know what I mean? So that's just one thing that I personally started to do, because I got tired of people defining words with what they're saying.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of time it's twisted.
Yeah.
So I really, like the word narcissist.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Right. We love the trigger words. The trigger words.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah. I don't want to say it.
It's just the word. It's the word narcissist. I feel like when we learn a new word, we take it and run with it.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of people that fit that category, right? But people just like to put everybody there, right? Because he lies to you. He probably don't lie to everybody else, but he lied to you. So he's a narcissist. Right.
Or maybe you're a crybaby. He don't want to hurt your feelings, so he lied. And now,
I definitely feel like there are words that people definitely take. They run with them. Narcissist is definitely a big word. Manifestation, super big word. That people take.
Gaslighting.
Oh my gosh.
Another one. Everyone's a gaslighter.
You'd be surprised how people don't actually know insecurities.
Yeah, me too.
It's crazy.
You know, or people, the projection, right? Projection on other people. Something that I always talk about, and maybe I'm probably the only person that doesn't do, to be in someone's comments, right, on social media. To be in someone's comments and openly post a negative opinion that you were not asked for is insane to me. It has to be a form of mental health. Like, wow. There has to be, because
I wasn't gonna go that far with it, but okay.
No, you have to, because for you to be in some, like, everyone has opinions. I have opinions for sure. Yeah. But I'm never gonna public opinions that don't help this person in any positive way, build them or do anything better. Now, that is just me. If somebody does something that I don't like, I don't feel the need to let them, I feel the need to separate myself, right? If you're following someone on social media that does something you don't like, whether it's a celebrity or whoever, like, I don't feel like you need to change that if that's what you feel like you need to be, right? But if I don't want to associate myself with it, I need to remove myself. And that's what people don't do, right? You're still following this person and commenting negativity on everything they do because you don't like it. And that is just insane to me. And I really want people to explain that to me. So maybe people can like come in the comments and like explain from their point of view.
I love it.
Please explain from your point of view. Like, if you comment negatively on like people's posts, like your just honest opinion, can you just tell me why? Like, I'm not even trying to be a jerk. No one has ever been able to like fully explain that to me, and I would love to know.
I feel like it's clickbait culture, or just trying to be noticed, especially under like celebrities posts or like things like the Shade Room or whatever the case may be. I feel like people want to say the most outlandish, the most left field thing because they want to get noticed. Most likes, they want to get pinged, they want to get noticed, they want somebody to mention it or say something about it, because I think JT said something about that also, because you know JT gets like the worst thing ever, because she goes back and forth with people in the comments, and you know I don't even pay attention too much to that.
Just like Cardi, they do anything for clout.
Like, but I saw that she said that like a fan, sometimes it's really a fan that will say the most left field thing, and then she'll say something about it and they'll be like, oh my gosh, she mentioned me, oh my god, like I really love you in real life, I'm so sorry. And it's like, you're strange.
Right. And you know, I get it. We live in a world of social media. I think that's
the culture now.
And social media has so much to do with the lack of confidence in
that part.
And women and people.
Expand.
Sure. Social media.
For sure. Talk about
it. Expands.
Can you imagine being on social media, having to see perfection? Right? What we deem as perfection, right? Perfect this, perfect that. And for you to be growing, you know, hitting puberty, going through different stages, whether it's acne, whether it's this, whether it's that. And for you to be going through this and consistently being on social media and having to see these things, it's insane. It is insane. How can you become who you are when you see so many examples of who you might want to be?
And you're at this moment not that.
You're not that, but you're not actually seeing the real person, right? You're seeing what they show you.
The edited version.
You may be young and you may not understand it. And so many people struggle with that. So I think one of the biggest factors in insecurity nowadays, or the lack of confidence and all this thing, is social media.
I think one of the things I always say, especially when we talk about social media, I always say comparison is the thief of joy.
Absolutely.
And that plays into social media, because if you're scrolling on social media every day and you're seeing people that what you think it looks better than you, or have more than you, always traveling, seemingly have money, or has all these great friends and things like that, sometimes that can make you feel not just insecure but saddened and have a form of depression, all because of something that you see, because you're comparing your life to that of a clip of somebody's microsecond of that somebody's life without knowing the realities behind it. Some of the people's lives on social media are true, but some of the things are not true. But either way, it's like you're not going to feel better about yourself when you start comparing yourself to other people. You got to find, like I said, that inner beauty or that inner confidence and work on yourself, because I think all of it is an inner work. When you're better with yourself, then you have a different discernment when you're looking at other things where you're not comparing yourself. Like, I go on social media and I just laugh. Like, I don't ever look at people and be like, oh my god, she's so pretty and I'm so ugly. Like, but I think that that's because I worked on myself and I think that I'm beautiful, even when I might look raggedy. You know what I mean? We talk about, like, we have moments. Just because you're confident doesn't mean you don't have moments of insecurity.
Oh, for sure.
I have days where I'm not feeling the best of myself, or I don't look the best of myself. But even in those days, I wouldn't trade myself for anybody.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing.
That's amazing, because now it brings me, I love this. Now y'all cooking. I love this, because now we get really into the depth of it. Because now, so I have two questions, right? And I want you both to think about it. So we all know this. I'm so glad I didn't have to explain this. We all know confidence is a mental state of mind. It's a you thing. Right. So my first question, it says, do you believe that external, voices or external forces, put it like that, can affect your confidence?
Absolutely. Why not? Right? If somebody tells you that you're the greatest, you gonna believe it. So why wouldn't you believe if somebody tells you that you're the worst, right? So anything that is consistent creates a habit. If the negativity is consistent, it's going to create that habit of you feeling that way, right? But who are you surrounding yourself with?
That part.
Are you surrounding yourself with people who are consistently bringing on that negative? Excuse me. Or are you surrounding yourself with people who are being truthful, right? Because positivity all the time is not necessarily truthful.
Right.
My friends hold me accountable. Okay? They definitely hold me accountable. And it's not.
And do and will.
My friends hold me accountable, okay? We be having real conversations, and they hold me accountable, right? So everything is not always positive, right? But I trust the source that it's coming from.
Right.
And the source that it's coming from is genuine, right?
It's from
there
love.
Are people that can tell me the same thing, but because of the vessel that it's coming from, I absolutely don't want to hear that, right? But when it's coming from the right vessel, I want to hear it. So people telling you negative things can definitely tear down your confidence. There is somebody that I definitely love so much, and we got into a back and forth one day, and there was a comment that she made in relation to me and my brand, and that comment till this day has caused irreparable damage between her and I, right? Now, do I hate her? Whatever. No, I want to see you win. But I'm going to see you win from back here. But I'm going to still be rooting for you. And whatever I can do to help you, I'm going to still help you because I believe in everything you do. But you said something in moments of anger. If she wasn't angry and she said it, I probably would have received it differently, right? But angry words, right? Real thoughts. So she said it in a moment of anger. And for me, there is nothing in your moment of happiness that you could tell me to take that back, right? So for me, there's that level of understanding, and it shook me for a little bit, and it threw me off for a little bit, but I was able to bounce back, right, from that or whatever. And that's one person, but it's also because I genuinely love this person, right? I genuinely love and care about this person so much. So for her to make that comment, right, which was not based or rooted in fact, for her to make that comment, that's not my delusion, that's God's honest truth, it wasn't based in fact, for her to make that comment in a moment of anger, you meant that, right? And that's just not, it wasn't a corrective measure that she thought it was going to be, right? She could have told me that in a different form and I would have received that, right? Because constructive criticism is very important. But I think it's the vessel that is coming from that matters, but people can absolutely take anything from you that you've built.
I think that question has a twofold. And I think you answered one fold and I'm going to answer the other. With your answer, it's more so about who it's coming from, right? And it having weight or value or anything like that in terms of like breaking your confidence or affecting you or anything like that. For me, I think there's another fold. And the other fold is where I think whatever people say about you, it only affects you if you believe it about yourself. And the reason I say that is because if I am someone that's gotten straight A's all of my life and I've been smart and you can't tell me nothing about my education, if you tell me in argument or you're a random stranger or whoever it is, and you tell me in whatever, you say, oh, she's dumb, I'm going to laugh in your face. Are you serious? I have proof that I'm literally smart. Are you dumb? Like I went to Ivy League. I'm this, I'm that, because I know about it. Nothing can shake that, waver that, none of that. Play in somebody else's face. It ain't gonna be me because I'm smart. Okay? But if you say the same thing to me, and I know I failed in classes, I know that I struggle in my education, I know that I may have been left back. You're a stranger. You don't even really know me, but you're like, yeah, you're dumb. I can be highly upset. That can hurt my heart because that's something I already feel about myself. I think that, and that's when even with friends or with strangers, we unintentionally hurt people sometimes because we don't know what they struggle with or we don't know what they feel about themselves. We don't know their inner insecurities or things like that. So it's important to be mindful of your words and the things that you say because, again, like I said, it's very difficult to know if you're impacting somebody or not based on the words that you choose. But I definitely do agree when it comes to personal friends, right? When they tell you certain things, it's very important for you to know the source of where it's coming from. But in terms of affecting my confidence personally, I don't think anyone has the ability to affect my confidence.
Yeah.
Right?
So
because like I say, like mine is deeply rooted. My confidence, I don't know. I think I'm gonna get church on y'all. You know what I mean? I gotta get church on y'all. Y'all know I'm a woman of God. Okay, I love to say that.
Yeah, hear her.
But my confidence is really stemmed in knowing whose I am, right? Who my creator is. I know who, you know what I mean? Like I know how he loves me, how he created me. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Like all the plans that he has for me. Like I don't think man has the ability to affect or sway my confidence. What I do believe that they have the power to do, just like fear, insecurities, and so on and so forth, is to plant seeds, right? Like you can plant seeds of doubt. You can plant seeds of sadness or of whatever the case. Like when you go through a breakup, it's a seed, and you can allow it to grow into depression or not. Like you can say things about me and it'll make, like, you can tell me like I'm not pretty, or like she doesn't articulate herself well, she's not smart, she's not this, she's not that. And it can make me think about it for a second. It can make me reevaluate myself for a second. Like, yo, am I, like, maybe I should work on this, maybe I should work on that. But my inner confidence, me knowing who I am and how I step in about myself, like you can't change that. Like I said, that's something that's innate. That's not something that came from anything but from within. So it don't move for me.
Like for me, genuinely, like there were so many things I needed to change about myself, right? And I genuinely didn't see it, right? And then you meet people along the way that help you realize what needed to be different, what needed to change, all these different things, right? So when you genuinely have somebody pour into you, you take heed to the things that they say, you build from that, you do all these different things, right? And it's not just one person that's saying one thing, but this is someone you genuinely love, care for, and respect, right? So everything is genuinely like, wow, right? So it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, sometimes you got the high meter and you're all the way up. Yeah. You know, sometimes that meter could bring you back down, but it necessarily doesn't bring you back down because that person was trying to be mean or they were trying to humble you. Sometimes you may need to get knocked down, right? Because you got to gauge is this correct, right? Is this okay or is it not okay, right? And when you are processing those thoughts bring down your level of confidence a little bit because you are questioning something that you genuinely believed in at a point. So you have to gauge and you have to work through that. And after you work through that, you're either going to go up or down and make the changes, but you still make a change either way. Yeah. You make a change either way. For sure. Right? And it always brings it back up. But for me, especially for how much I love, respect, and admire the ladies that I surround myself with. I look up to them. I love them. Some of them I'm older than, and I look up to them so much. I respect and value their opinion because they made me such a better version of myself after I met them, you know? So these are different things, but that was such a great question.
Okay.
That was.
Sure.
I really do love that question.
My second one. That's what I do.
Now this.
My second question, but I think you already touched on a little bit. But in the world that we live in, who do you actually believe holds the most power in breaking or making or even influencing your confidence? And I'm talking about like between men and women, because Jesus Christ.
it depends on who you ask.
Because for sure, the reason why I'm asking is because you got the beauty scene, you know, and the high end of the women, you know, making young girls go ahead and get, you know, Botox or go ahead and get the whole BBL talk. You know, so you have all of these women that our society looks up to that are not that portray that they perfect, but it's not really like, you know, there's a disconnect.
For sure.
So I want to know, like, who do you guys believe is actually influencing these, you know, confidence breakers or starting these confidence?
Before you answer that, I'm going to answer real fast. I know I said Jesus Christ because he is really that, you know, the author of my life and all that. But I do want to also say, I'll play too much.
Too much.
No, but I do want to say that the women that I'm surrounded by as well, because it would be unfair for me to not also mention the women that I'm surrounded by. They are the people that have, like I said, I wasn't the most mature person growing up. You know what I mean? Sure. Like I say a lot of ignorant things, you know, I used to speak before I think. and nothing I say ever.
God, know that shit.
You know what I mean? Me and Dad had our heart to heart. You know what I mean? I listen, and for me, I never have ill intent, so I always assume that people believe that I also don't have ill intent, but that's not necessarily true. Like I said, words are powerful, and you can hurt somebody without knowing that you're hurting somebody when you're just talking, right? I do feel like the women in my life definitely play a strong part second to God. You know what I mean? Because you can have a personal relationship with God, but he also uses the people around you to strengthen what he's already put inside of you, right? And I feel like you said, it's important to cultivate a good surrounding because, like you said, or what are you constantly surrounded by? Is it people that are bringing you up or bringing you down? And I feel like I am surrounded by people that bring me up. And when there are people that are in my surroundings that, although I love very much, that because seasons change and people can change as well in terms of how they feel about themselves, because hurt people hurt people. Yeah. So how they feel about themselves, they can start becoming a poison in a sense. And you have to learn how to remove yourself from that, but be able to decipher that, having that discernment as well. So I think that my surrounding of women who are amazing, like you said, I do literally look up to people younger than me, older than me, my age, like words of wisdom. Like I truly heed their advices, and they boost me up in confidence, and they also remind me who I am, right? And let me know, like, nah, you really are beautiful, like you really are talented, like you could do anything, sis, like what you want to do, like how can I help you? But actively help. It's not just words, it's also the actions behind it that makes you feel like, yeah, I can conquer the world because I got dope girls behind me that's gonna help me get it, you know what I mean? So yeah.
And I think it depends on who you ask, right? Because for some people, it's not their girls. It's their husband, right?
Yeah.
Or their pastor, or their parents, or their siblings. It depends on who you ask. But I definitely feel like it goes back to circumstances. Your circumstances are going to make or break. Who you surround yourself by is going to make or break. For some people, they find a lot of value in men or women, right? They don't really care too much for their friendships. They value what their significant other says, and that's that, right? And that can either build them or break them, right? That can either put them up or bring them down, right? Because there are some significant others that's going to build you up. And there's some significant others that's going to tear you down, right? So I definitely feel like it depends on the person that you ask. It depends on their circumstances. You know, people look at me crazy when I say, like, yes, I love my female friends. I love my girls. Can't tell me nothing about them, right? And then you have the other girls. I can't be friends with girls. I'm friends with guys. Girl, guys, stop it. Worst of the worst.
What?
And let me issue this disclaimer, right? I don't feel like men ain't ish. I don't feel any of that. And I'm not talking about men in relationships. I don't even get into all that. People's circumstances is different. When it comes to men in friendship, I'm going to argue you down. Okay? Men are definitely, most of the time, worse than women. I could tell you some stories, but I'm not that person. But okay, I got some recent Tisa stories.
And this is all
What's a Tisa story?
Yes,
so
these are really male friends, and genuinely have male friends, and have male friends for years. And genuine platonic relationships, nothing more, nothing less. But the amount of things that I've experienced in my friendship with men, you know, in relation to other things, and no underhanded, weird, sneaky stuff, but just in relationship with, give me the girls any day. Give me
facts.
I'm saying the girls, because with the guys, I don't expect these things.
Yeah.
So when guys do certain things that I quote unquote expect from girls, it's a shell shocker. Why are you this way? Like, why do you even care about that, right? So
is that making them sassy?
But also, we gotta preface this by saying,
stop with the sassy.
No. That's what I was about to say.
Sassy apocalypse.
Let me tell you something. That's what I was gonna preface by saying.
I empathize.
I'm gonna say that I preface by saying this, that there are different types of guys, right?
Yeah.
We have to say, like, I've had guy friends that are guys, right? That's not going to sit here and want to cry together. Let's talk about it together. What's going on? Let's go in depth together. And, you know what I mean? I've had guys. I'm talking about, like, get over it. guys.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, you be alright. Not to be mean. But I'm saying, not to be mean, but on some like, yo, you be alright. Like, that's their pep talk. You be alright, bro. Like, you big B, not the little one. Like, it's just quick, fast. Like, you know.
Bro, see, that's a great pep talk. You feel me?
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
But you see, but with your girls, there's a difference where your girls who are your valuable girls, like your sister friends, you know, the inner circle that I talk about, those are the friends that you can be like, let me tell you something. I said, I did, and it was, and they're going to sit there, they're going to hear it, they're going to be like, word. Okay, but friend, you know you was wrong, right? You know where you came out of pocket, right? Like, don't get me wrong, validate your feelings, but you could have approached this way.
Yeah.
Or they could also be like, hell yeah. Like, and what about it? Like, what you want me to do? What you want me to say? What be going? You want me, what be spinning? What's happening?
That's what I be wanting.
But
all the time. That's all I want. Right? Because I be going off.
So you just want to spin all the time?
Listen, I be going off. And I be ready to go off. And my friends be like, all right, Daph, I heard you. Mm-hmm. Now let's have a real talk about it. Right?
Yeah.
So they'll let me let it go and they'll let me release it. And I'm just like, you know, when people be like, if my mom say I'm right, like I'm right. Mm-hmm. If my friends say it's up,
it's
right.
up, it's
like,
over.
You can't tell me nothing. But most of the time,
they'd be like, no.
Like, all right, but you know, let's really talk about it. Right?
Let's talk about it.
I'm more reactive where they are, you know, they think first and like react second. And I can be that way professionally or personally. I struggle with that, right? So having them keeping me grounded is definitely good. But the guys,
yeah,
I feel like the guys are changing. You know what I'm saying?
So what does that mean?
I'm setting the path.
Maybe.
What does that mean?
Feel me?
What does that mean? So you feel like guys are sassy?
No.
Or you feel like some guys are sassy?
No. You talking about like empathizing or being the friend.
I'm saying like the friend.
Like,
You know what I'm saying? Because I provide that space. You know what I'm saying, for my women friends. I listen. You know, I always you know, validate the feelings.
Okay.
That's
and I tell them if they were wrong or if they were right.
Sure.
You know, and some of them they already know. They're like, hey, Caleb, I got to tell you something.
See, that's creme de la creme. You feel me? That's a small handful. That's creme de la creme.
You feel me? But I mean, like, hey, I feel like it's just the way guys empathize versus, like you said.
That's what I said. It's
different. It's very different.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But I think as a woman, right? And this is something I got to preface to, I say preface, but this is something that I emphasize. As a woman, I think it's really important for you to be self-aware of what you need when you need it, right? I always say I have different friends for different things, okay? Like, if I want to cry about something, I know who I'm going to call to cry about something.
Absolutely.
If I want to set it off, I know who I'm going to call to set it off. You feel me? And you know, you got to have that friend that's the writer for you. That's going to type it up and say what needs to be said. And that's that friend.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of
personally. That's
a lot of positions.
Like,
that's why I said
give me an email
different people for different things.
I'm tearing you up in
you know what I mean? Like, if I'm in an argument, one thing about it, I'm gonna type it, I'm gonna send it to Daphne and be like, yo, pre-fruit that. So I send that right there. She's gonna be like, hold on, let me redo it, send you the draft. Let me know if you can press.
Wow.
Let me tell you something, and I'm gonna press send. I don't even need to read it. She said it, I'm sending it. What about it?
And you know what? I do that for a couple of too, so don't play with me. I'm good.
Hold on. Different things.
So what that mean, fellas, we need to get our own team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got their team.
Let me tell you something.
Get the recruit.
I need the post. I got all the apology paragraphs ready.
Yo, let me tell you something right now. You can get your 10 of your best guys and ain't got nothing on my girl Daff.
Don't play with
okay? She will argue with all 10 of y'all and make y'all feel dumb.
And never have to get crazy, cursing people out or get disrespectful.
Respectfully.
Literally, vocabulary is the biggest thing. Because when people don't understand, that's where the anger comes from.
Okay.
They don't understand, right? So we're using words, we're using all these derogatory terms. And obviously, professionally, you can't do that.
Right.
So I think I've mastered the art
of hurting your heart.
Right? But also being able to write that right in a message without devaluing myself or demeaning myself or using all these type of words. And you know, I'm definitely going to cuss. I'm cussing outside. But when it comes to winning an argument, I feel like in the moment that you start with the low blows or all the derogatory terms,
you're losing.
You're losing.
Losing, buddy.
So definitely having that understanding, but putting my point across, because I definitely feel like my friends, even in their anger, they still have a level of
respect.
I don't want to be mean.
Right. Respect and niceness.
We can respectfully agree to disagree, but you gonna hear this.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. You looking for clients? I got it.
You know what? My services, I actually am about to retire because
not for me though.
I need to retire because my feet
Hello,
calling
not
me.
For me.
They be calling me all types of
And
TM
still call you.
hours.
And we'll still call you. And we'll still
do
text you.
foolishness. I'm about to retire. Or I'm about
She's
to have
retiring.
hours.
She's
Not
no,
for me.
Definitely
Make an ebook. I need.
Not for me. Not for me.
They be tearing people up on TikTok with them ebooks. You're not gonna catch me. Not the $3 ebooks. I don't got no ebook on confidence or nothing like that.
Oh wait. Okay, just to talk back into confidence in me. Just wanted to say, like, I know personally that your brand has been a target for just all those that resonate. If that's something that resonates with you, confidence, you're not selling anything. You're not trying to tell people how to build, how to lose, how to this, how to that. It's just, is this something that resonates with you? It's a positive brand that, I've seen girls, women, older, younger, kids, babies, everybody rock and wear and stuff like that. For the men that are more so watching or that might see a clip of this or anything like that, is confidence in me also for them?
I get this question a lot, and I'd like to believe that confidence in me, for the most part, just in respect to everyone and how they identify, it doesn't directly identify with anyone. But specifically to the men, I can't speak to confidence for men because I'm not a man. Right. So I definitely have like confident man shirts, here and there that I definitely give out, my brothers and stuff, they'll rock it or whatever. But when it comes to the brand genuinely being for a man, I can't speak to that from a man. Right. So I'm trying to pitch something that I can genuinely speak from, that I can relate to, that I can answer questions on. And when it comes to youth, young women of color, grown women of color, these are things I can speak to. So that's kind of what I pivot towards. But it's not that it's not for men. I just can't speak to that. But there may be a day where I have some type of collab or something like that somebody can speak from a man's point of view or have that man point of view collab. But it's definitely okay for the girls to have something. It's definitely okay for anybody who identifies with my brand to have it in whatever way they do. Yes, generally it's for women and all these different things. But if you feel like you're a man and you identify with my brand, what's up? Trying to wear a shirt?
I'm glad that you mentioned that because I thought I wanted to touch on if you think like if the roles were reversed in a guy. I know you say you don't want to speak from the place of a man, but what do you think if a guy was to actually start this movement also that you're starting? Do you think the support would be there too?
I definitely think it would have to be different, right? Because I think that guys sometimes get a hard time with the words that they speak, with people feeling like they're trying to finesse and all these different things. And they could genuinely believe these things, but sometimes it's harder to market. Like for me, I do a lot of public speaking engagements and workshops. I know a lot of men, right, who are doing things like this. I actually know a group who has come and done different workshops, for youth that I know, and they're called 2%, and it's kind of started by a guy, and he goes into, low income communities and he does different workshops for young men and different things like that to show them like how to start a clothing brand and all these different things. So there's definitely guys doing it, but his approach is very different from mine, right? But we're able to get the same results, but his approach is very different from mine, and I actually really love his style, shout out to them. But I really love their style and what they do. So there's definitely men out here doing it. I think they just doing it in a different way.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
Go ahead.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
You feel me? I had it.
You lost it?
Go ahead.
Okay. Think about it. Just want to tie into, you said like speaking engagement and stuff like that. So essentially seeing confidence in me, seeing me for short, is not just merchandise, right? It's a lot more than that. You speak about speaking engagement and stuff like that. Just want to say like, well, not I think you should kind of speak to what's essentially next for confidence in me. Where do you want to take this?
Confidence in me has been slowly growing and slowly building, doing public speaking engagements, doing workshops for young women, young ladies, doing different brunches for little girls and all these different things, days to make them feel good and all that. I have a gift that many people don't like, which is the ability to speak in public, right? People fear public speaking, they loathe public speaking, whereas me, I didn't have a choice because my career demands it. So I have learned to speak publicly and be okay with that. So I am on a road to do speaking engagements in low income underserved communities. So that's definitely the next step for us in Confidence in Me.
Yeah. I love that.
That's
I love
amazing.
that. Yes.
It's amazing. It came back to me. So last question before closing out.
Yes.
What do you feel is the top 2 most critical issues that most young women are facing today, and how do you think that we as a community or society could help in, finding a solution for that problem?
Lack of support. I definitely didn't have a version of me when I was growing up, which kind of motivates me to be who I am to my students. So definitely a lack of support. A lot of them are raising themselves, right? A lot of these kids are running their households. So genuinely that lack of support, and also the overindulgence in social media. Yes. Social media is a gift and a curse. Right? It's very good because it definitely teaches them how to be entrepreneurs and all these different things, but it can definitely be such a big catalyst to what they experience every day and hurt them. So I think balance in everything is good, but I feel like these young women, these young men, these youth, they need support. Right? More people need to get into youth development, and I understand why they don't. Right? Financial reasons, whatever. But if more people got into youth development that genuinely want to be in youth development, right? That genuinely want to build youth, I feel like there would be so many differences. I have a student, you can't tell me she's not my child, that I didn't carry her for 9 months. But when she was in middle school, who she is today, nobody believed that's who she would be. And I love this little girl to the death of me, and I believed in everything she was and everything she became today is, a step of everybody who believed in her. But all the naysayers, I was never one. I believed in her, and she showed me better than she could tell me.
Love that.
Genuinely investing in the youth. So in anything you do, even though we all work in different fields, there are youth in those fields. Invest in them a little bit. Take some time, get to know them. Be the person that you didn't have.
I love that. I love that.
Beautiful. That was good.
Real quick, you can look into the camera, let them know what you got on. You feel me? Let them know what you got on.
So I definitely have my C in Me, which has the breakdown of confidence in me, confidence plus in plus me. The brands, you can definitely find me on Instagram at confidence in me with the extra E at the end, or seeing me the brand on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes. And then lastly, I want you to know, she dressed me today,
Oh gosh.
Hold on. Let me set me up real quick.
Okay, go ahead, pretty black girl.
Pretty black girl. If that's you, if you resonate, you feel me?
Pretty black girl.
Get you one. Okay? Okay. Just wanted to put that out there. But thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
I want a handsome black guy shirt.
Handsome black guy. I like that. No copyright. I like that.
Nah, you good. Just X if you don't say we good. We good.
Never know.
I do a little collab.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This is an amazing podcast. I wish you guys all the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. You were amazing. I love you dearly, so there's that.
Love you guys too.
I appreciate you for coming.
No, for sure. It was a great conversation.
Yes, for sure. And listen, man, if you enjoyed the conversation, definitely drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe and turn that bell on so you can get a video every time we drop. And without further ado, I'll see you in the next one.
Yay, peace. EP, that's it.
And if you enjoyed this episode, definitely like, comment down your thoughts down below, and definitely subscribe with the bell on so you can get these videos every time we drop.
And if you'd like to see more content, please be sure to check out our latest video right over there.
I'll see you next time.
Peace.